nice and slick. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're doing an install and review on this MANGOAL 4K OEM Style Dashcam. It's pretty unique setup. I can't wait to get it out of the box and show it to you, see what it's all about. It's designed to integrate into your vehicle's existing features. And you'll see again in a second when we get it out and take a look at it. So the mirror cluster on my Dodge Ram has a space that holds the factory camera system if your vehicle is equipped with like the lane assist or the adaptive cruise and any sensors and stuff out there. My truck does not have that, but it's designed to take that setup down and replace it with this. Now you'll still retain all your existing camera equipment or functionality if you do have that, but again, mine's empty, so it's not that big of a deal. And this system snaps back in its place, replaces everything, looks factory, there's no wires, there's nothing mounted to your dash, anything like that. So it's a really slick, clean setup. Can't wait to get it installed. This one comes with the 1080p rear camera as well, so we'll have front and rear covered, and think it's going to be a really nice setup. So a huge thank you to MANGOAL for sending this out for us to test. I appreciate it, and let's get to it and see what it looks like. Also, if you're new here, just finding us, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Leave all your comments or thoughts down below. If you've got any questions about anything we're doing here or on this camera, I'll try to answer them for you. I'll leave all the links down below as well, so you can pick one up for yourself and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or found it helpful whatsoever. I appreciate it. Now let's get to it. So let's go ahead and get this package open and see what we've got in the box. Got some details on the back, just about the brand, manufacturer, address, all that information, standard information there. Slide it open. Get this out of the way. There we go. We got some please read first, precautions and installation safety, about the app, warnings, CarPlay, Android Auto, stuff like that. More instructions to be cautious of before installation. So this is warning you about the different types of the mirror installations. So on their website and Amazon, when you're ordering, you have to specify exactly what type of setup you have and mirror mounts and stuff like that to make sure that the plugs and everything work just correctly. We've got, looks like our user manual and some zip ties to keep everything tucked away nice and neat. Let's see what all we've got here. Looks like we've got our plug pigtail for the mirror mount here. Got our wire and harness, some installation tools. There's our micro SD card here as well. Got everything ready to go. Oh, it comes with a OBD2 port also on here for power. If you don't have a mirror tap, you can also power it through your OBD2 port. But we're going to use the mirror tap as well, not as well, but instead, so we can have it all nice and clean and not have to run extra wires. Let's see what we've got here. Here is our rear mounted camera. So we opted for the package that has the rear 1080p camera as well as the special 4K front camera. And here is our unique OEM style front 4K camera. So let's get it out, be real careful with it here. It's all tucked up in the bag for safekeeping. And there we go. So check that out. So this will replace that cup or mirror contraption on the front, and it has everything that'll look just like OEM. And get it in the frame a little bit better. Just like OEM, so you won't be able to see anything. And so there's our camera. and this will mount, and everything will be hidden and look just like from factory. It's a really nice setup, ingenious setup, the way they've done this. So everything works just fine. Looks like there's a little bit of a vent in the front, and probably for the models and the vehicles that have the camera and the adaptive cruise and lane sensing and stuff like that built in. That's probably what all this is for. My vehicle doesn't have that, so this will be a little bit easier install without having to worry about all that stuff. But yeah, really cool. And then there's our card slot on the side, so I was wondering about that too. What's really nice is that way you can pop this card in and out if you want to put it in a laptop or a computer or whatnot, pull files off of it. You don't have to uninstall this entire thing to get to the card or anything. You can pull it right out of the side. So that's really slick. I like that feature. That was one of my questions when we got this on the way. And then it's got some controls here on the bottom too. So you can power it on and off, and looks like, let's see, maybe that's the lock feature, the button there to save files or whatnot if you need to. But we'll dive back into that a little bit more detail once we get the instruction manual out. But yeah, really slick setup, looks good so far. So now we got to just start taking things apart and get it installed. So the instructions have obviously everything you need in here. The index, of course, warnings and things to watch out for. You've got all your features, so it's got built-in Wi-Fi, the G sensor, built-in video rotate, parking mode, time-lapse parking mode. It's of course 4K Ultra HD in the front, and it's got this one has the 1080p rear camera, auto power off, time and date stamp, time-lapse, all that good stuff that you would expect from a camera of this quality. And then of course all your user agreements and warnings. There's your quick start guide of how everything takes place, what's in the box and the specifications. The information about the app and the settings, and so it's got a photo button. So that's what we saw on here, along with the power on and off button, this photo. If you want to take a picture of something, you can click it and it'll save a photo of it. Of course, it's got all your other standard stuff, speakers and your card slot and whatnot. And then you've got all the different features, again, how to connect it to Wi-Fi, your QR code to download your app is here, and how to go ahead and get started and formatting the card and whatnot. So really handy, full-featured instructions. I know some of these things and some things you buy, you know, the instructions are a little bit lacking, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. They really have detailed instructions on everything, how to get the card out, image resolution, video resolution, all the different settings that you would want to have on your camera and your dash cam and your particular setup. So yeah, everything you could ever need is right here, ready to go. So let's get it installed. So here's a quick look at what I'm referring to. Here's the bottom of this mirror mount where the normal factory camera would go if you had something like that for the lane assist or whatnot. But we already have quite a bit of stuff on the windshield in here. We've got the radar detector, we've got our performance tuner that's hooked to the windshield. So this is going to be a really nice solution to keep everything nice and OEM looking without having another camera hooked or stuck to the windshield and any wires and everything. It's going to go right here. So we've just got to take it apart and get that off, and I'll show you those steps now. The first part of this is going to be really easy. You can reach up here and put your finger in the top and you kind of just pull down. Sounds pretty rough, but it just slides right out, and then you can just pull it out, and there we are. So that's the first part out of the way. It just snaps. You can see the two pins or the two catches on either side that snap in, and then the pegs that go in the bottom right there to hold it in. And you can see on this setup, here's the new camera setup, how it will just slide right in the bottom and hook right back in the sides. Now if we take a quick look at the camera setup as I knock it over, you can see the camera is housed over here on the right side, and then you can see the lens out the front, the micro SD card, and then the two controllers on the side. And so these are the clips that you have to take loose right here on either side that's mounted on this mirror up here. If you can see up in there a little bit, it's hard to see. Let me see if I can, there we go. So you can see kind of up in here, they have the clips on either side of this mirror mount, and that's what you have to pry loose. Sometimes it's easier just to twist this entire mirror off and take it down, and that's a little bit easier solution than trying to pull this apart, but we'll see which one works better. Here's a look with the entire mirror removed. You do not have to do this way, but sometimes I find it easier. I've pulled this off a couple of times when I installed and hardwired the radar detector, so I know how to do it. You can just twist the entire thing counterclockwise and it'll pull right off this pin up here. And then it's got a little push pin in the side and then the plug, of course. And that push pin goes right in the side here. And then the plug comes right out of the mirror here. So now you can see where this thing clips in on either side. One right here, and then the other one on the side right here. That'll take this off, and we can clip the new one in and start with our wiring. Now that we have the stock piece out, there it is. We have the camera now mounted onto the mirror, and here are our two wires. If you have the one with the rear camera, you'll have this extra one here, and then then there's the power for the pigtail here for the camera. So if you do want a rear camera, you need to order it so it comes that way, because you can't add it later because of the way this is built and wired up. So make sure if you do want that rear camera, order it that way to start with. And then we've got our 3 pigtails that they sent in the kit, so you have to pick which one you want that'll fit your application. This is the one for us, and so we put that into the stock power supply here, and then it splits off and we feed the mirror power and then the camera power. So we'll get that done and then start putting it back together. And there it is, back installed. So you can see the wires coming out of the top just a little bit there for the reverse camera. We'll have all that tucked away. You won't see a single thing. But yeah, now it's nice and integrated right into that spot. So you won't see anything. Nothing's mounted to the windshield. Nice and slick. We've got our SD card or micro SD card installed. So now we just got to get the app fired up and get it connected and start getting all the settings configured. Now we've got our rear camera cable snaked up under the headliner all the way around. They give you a nice trim panel tool to kind of pull these seams. We've got it all tucked under here, underneath the weather stripping, all the way around here, and all the way in the back. And we've got our excess cable tucked under this pillar in the back, and we've got it's popped out a little bit until we get it cleaned up. We've got the connector here for the rear camera, and they give you a little warning on here too to make sure that you have this the right way mounted before it's right side up before you mount it. So we'll do some testing in the app to make sure we've got everything configured before we mount it, and we'll plug it in, and that'll basically be it. So we've got everything hooked up in the truck, and it's been a couple of days now and it's working flawlessly. Haven't had any issues whatsoever. So we've got the app connected to it now, so you can see just how easy and straightforward this is. As soon as you connect it to the Wi-Fi on the camera, it'll ask you to add a camera. It's very seamless, straightforward, and then you can immediately see what the camera sees. There's out the front, and then you can tap this button, and there's our rear camera as well. So you can tap to go right back to the other one. And then you can pause and take pictures, and then you can see all of the files on the camera. It will stop the recording when you do this at the moment, of course, but that's no big deal. And then it takes just a second to kind of feed in or read all of the files. And there you go. You can start seeing all of them. And you can go through and download them, share them, whatever you want to do. Any of the snapshots that you happen to have taken with the button on it, any locked files, so if the G sensor in it gets triggered, it will lock the files, or any parking, if you have this set up in the parking mode, you can pull those as well. And you can click on any of them and view them, and then if we go back, you can go to the camera settings. Takes a second once it connects. I think I got in too big of a hurry. So there's the camera settings. Again, very straightforward. Not a lot of stuff that you can mess up in it, whether or not you want it to record sound, the speaker volume, the image resolution, video resolution, so you can change the different settings in here of how high def you want each one of these, if you want some smaller file sizes or whatever. But I would suggest staying with the 4K. And then your loop record settings, how long you want each video file to record before it stops and goes to the next one. Exposure, timestamps, of course, and I'm not sure what the WDR is. I have to check on that. Collision sensing, you want to set it to the highest, so if it gets bumped or anything, it will lock the video file. And then there's your parking sensors. We don't have the hardwire kit. We didn't want to go that route, so this is not available right now. And then of course you can set your Wi-Fi password if you want to change it from the default one that comes on it. But very straightforward, easy to use, and works really, really simply. So it's a nice app, and sometimes you can kind of be a little hit or miss with the app interfaces for these things, but this one seems to do everything that you need right there. Very easy to get to. And so now that we've done the install, went over everything, unboxing, and the app control, we'll show you a few 4K clips right now so you can see just how crystal clear this footage is and how well it does. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. A huge thank you to MANGOAL for sending us this camera to try out. You can see the rear camera up there in the back installed. Everything's nice and neat and tucked away. Front camera's working great. Everything works real good. The Wi-Fi and the app works good. Downloaded a bunch of files to put in the video on the computer, and that process went really well and smooth as well. So I really like the built-in OEM form factor of this camera. You don't have a lot of extra stuff hanging down in your way or mounted to your windshield. It tucks right in where it's supposed to be and blends in with your original equipment. So it's a real positive in my view if you want to go with something like this. Again, thank you to MANGOAL for sending it to us. We will put the links down below. They have makes and models for all kinds of vehicles, luxury cars, you know, US, domestic, all kinds of stuff. Of course, this was a Ram install, and they have everything for all the major manufacturers. So again, I'll leave the link down below so you can check them out. Pick up one for yourself if you want to. Leave a like if you thought the video was helpful or informative at all. If you've got any questions whatsoever, please leave them down below. I'll try to answer everything I can. Be sure to check them out. If you want to subscribe for more stuff like this or the other stuff we're doing on the channel, be sure to check it out and subscribe if you want to follow along. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. Thanks again for watching.